It is my pleasure next to introduce a very special person, a very special lady who comes to us from the great continent of Africa. She was born on the continent of Africa. She was educated in several different parts of the world, her elementary education. She has had secondary and tertiary education. She is highly qualified and is at present a lecturer, professor at Rutgers State University. This is the person who had the pleasure and the honor, and who gave us the pleasure, rather, of getting to understand the man Mandela. So without saying anything further that could possibly detract from this tremendous performance, I would like you to bring on with a round of applause Dr. ABENA BUSIA. Her contribution will be accompanied on the drums.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to be here. Tonight, I'm accompanied on percussion by Mr. Fred Simpson. The poem we're going to do tonight is a poem that I wrote a couple of years ago, on the night that Nelson Mandela was released. I think it's a self-explanatory poem. It's a poem about the journey that we all shared, waiting for that moment. It's called Testament for the First Accused, Nelson Mandela, for the 27 years. I know Patrice Lumumba had been some time dead, and Sylvanus Olympia only just, though I'm not sure why, as I try to reconnect myself with my child's mind and the memories of events that jumble there. A knowledge of our distant world pieced together through overheard conversations and voices on the radio. In 1962, the world was a very different place. I didn't know where Montgomery was, but I'd learnt the meaning of boycott. Didn't understand Mau Mau, except it taught the impact of lies and what all freedoms cost. I remember your name and vague talk of a trial and treason being a serious thing. Sisulu and Mbeki, Goldberg and Maklaba, Kathrada, Motsoaledi, and Mlangeni at Rivonia. These names I've learned through the years, but at the time, what I recall for sure is a baby Bikila's second Olympic gold, and Cassius Clay proving he was the greatest by the time you made your statement and disappeared. We have not seen you since. I didn't mark your 50th birthday. But in Ghana, J.B. Dankwa was already dead. And we had lived through coups and counter-coups already at the start of a second republic. While Baldwin warned of the fire next time, the white Rhodesians declared UDI and the Zimbabweans braced for war. But we were killing our brothers already in Biafra while the whole world watched. And a young Christopher Okigbo reminded us that even the poets were dying. And you were still alive. and you were still not free. Though James Brown danced us off the streets and soul came to soul in Ghana, no one remembered Paul Robeson, and Mahalia Jackson sang her last, singing, "We shall overcome through frustrated freedom summers." We left Mississippi, Watts, and Newark burning, and Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin dead. All dead, and you were still alive, and you were still not free. In an angry and lonely world, we mark the passage of your 10th year reading letters to Martha and Soledad, brother. All souls were on ice, as Arthur Norcher killed himself in an Oxford room and an exiled Kabaka died. We freed Angela Davis, but on your desolate island you were still alive, and you were still not free. Your 60th birthday reminded us this struggle was your life. But by then, your life had become our struggle, as we buried Hector Peterson and 100 slaughtered children on the scorched streets of Soweto. With a jailed Thandi Modise, we cried freedom for a murdered Stephen Biko. People young enough to be your children, and children younger than your children dead. So many of them dead. But you at least were still alive, though you were still not free. We shouted Frelimo when another empire fell. Antonio Jacinto survived Tarrafal, but Agostino Neto was dead. Eduardo Mondlane had been many years murdered, and we have since mourned the wreckage of Samora Machel on the South African side of Mozambique's mountains, and you were still alive and you were still not free. By your 20th year, Anwar Sadat had sued for peace in the Knesset and had been later killed for his pains. And Haile Selassie, the Lion of Judah, had disappeared, leaving no memorial except a 3,000-year imperial kingdom now decades at war. And in Eritrea, Tigray, the Sudan, the Spanish Sahara, the harvest of our dreams wept a whirlwind of nightmares, and we searched for Janani Luwum among Kampala's martyred. Mali, who sang for Manly and Mugabe, was so young, dead, and you were still alive, and you were still not free. The decades bring the deaths of leaders. The power and the myth that was Nkrumah lies broken like his shattered statue on the Accra streets. And in the same week that Jomo Kenyatta faced his sacred Mount Kenya for the final time, Kofi Busia's challenge to an Africa in search of democracy ended. All your peers dead, and you were still alive, and you were still not free. Yet, on a continent being liberated, redeemed, revolutionized, proclaiming Uhuru, the people were marching. 25 years after Sharpeville, we march. 10 years after Soweto, we march. And when they killed mothers and babies on their march through Mamelodi, still with them we march, for you were still alive and you were still not free. By the time we reached your 70th birthday, another generation of children had learned to call your name. We carry old images of your face in our hearts and on the t-shirts on our backs as an icon of a new morning. The Tembu warrior prince, the lawyer activist, the prisoner. Around the world we march in our millions, demanding your release into this troubled world, so sadly bereft of heroes. For you were still alive, and you were still not free. You disappeared from our view in a world which had taken no small step on the moon for man. No Apollos, no Challengers, no Soyuz, no photographs of the furthest planets, no walks in space. The small steps taken on Earth for mankind had included no Flower Power Love concerts at Woodstock, no Art Against Apartheid freedom concerts in Sun City, no bands in aid proclaiming we are the world. That world had known no cultural revolution in China, no drafted US troops in Vietnam, no killing fields in Cambodia, no vanished prisoner without a name in a cell without a number, mourned by the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo. And through this all, you were still alive, and you were still not free. And now, it is the Lord's Day, the 11th of February 1990, and it is 5 a.m. in Los Angeles, California. It is 8 a.m. in New York and Kingston, Jamaica. It is 1 p.m. in Stockholm, London, and Accra, Ghana, and half the marching world has paused to keep vigil. For it is 3 p.m. in Cape Town, South Africa, and we wait to see your face. After 27 years of fighting, marching, and singing, we keep a 90-minute watch to see you take these next few steps on this, your no easy walk to our uncertain freedom, to witness your release into this changing world, unceasingly the same. For you are still alive, but we are still not free. Amandla Mandela, aluta continua.